of the dual screen product. So it's not focusing really well on here. Maybe if I turn the light off, let me see. No.
Do a quick focus. Focus on it.
All right. So on this side of the screen, this is where all different classes and all different content has been organized. And as you can see, over here it says My Library. All your books, all your notes are being saved for you as you go in. Now, if I were to simply touch on a textbook, this is what a typical textbook looks like. They are big and beautiful. They were designed for a purpose to have content in a certain fashion. It's actually very interesting. When we took the books and we tried to completely maximize the screen all the way to the edge, students came back to us and said, no, I want you to leave margins because I want to be able to take notes in the book. So the ability to take notes is absolutely important for the students. But as you can see on this book, I've highlighted, I've put in a sticky note, I can bookmark, and all this content is now being saved for you, where to the point that a student can simply say, well, show me my own cliff notes, everything I've highlighted, all the stickies I've made, and maybe even if I've circled some images, pull them out into my notes, and I would like to use that. Now, so from the dual screen perspective, that students love the fact that you can have your book and write your notes at the same time. That's why they want the dual screens, because if you saw from the picture earlier, the student had a book open, they had their notepad open, and they had other notes around it. And that's everything that we're putting together in a simple fashion. Now, these are handwritten notes. They just look like your notes. Now, one of the decisions we made was we did not want to go and try to start with text recognition, because as you're typing, it confuses you because you're always trying to fix your text. So the ability to just take your notes in classroom with high speed is one of the key functions of the product. Now, if we take a look at some of the other areas that we have, now we have a full browser. This is an HTML5 drawing board from mugtug.com. And I just opened the browser and put it in there, and now you have the ability to draw or use any of the products out there on the web. There's a lot of great content in Flash and HTML5 which students would like to use. There are a lot of learning management systems out there that the students can now simply access from this device and go and straight work on them. Obviously, there's the ability to have a keyboard. So you can type, you can take your notes just like a simple touchscreen product. You can have a keyboard with Bluetooth if you prefer a more tactile feeling. But hopefully what you see today is the maniacal focus on education for us. We're not interested in building products for healthcare or other industries. We're really focused on education because we believe the 100 million students in the US alone need a pretty focused product for them that works the way it should as a student. One of the earliest things that really got me going on this, I have two daughters who are 8 and 5. And a couple of years ago, I was just walking down the staircase, and they were on the dining table doing homework. And it just hit me that they had an over-photocopied piece of paper. I got it. Over-photocopied piece of paper. And they were writing and learning the way I did 4 decades ago in Pakistan. I mean, I was stunned that technology has forgotten education, and it was one of the driving factors for us to really move the ball forward.
We'll take questions. If you have a question, please come line up behind me and introduce yourself.
I'm going to start with a question because my first luggable was a Osborne, size of a sewing machine, so I'm in love. In your test, what was the reaction to the students at Berkeley in terms of, was it Berkeley?
Yes.
Yeah. When you had to take it away from them, or going back to their normal textbooks, did they have withdrawal feelings?
They absolutely did. One of the things, they wanted to keep the device. They said, can we have it? But we've put them on a special program that they'll be able to get early access to the device.
What was their feeling when they had to go back to the old technology? They feel like they're going back to the steerage on the airplane?
Absolutely. It was back to carrying one book around with you and then going home and then having all the work piled up when you got home. Another interesting thing was we found out that students were taking 3 times more notes in the dual screen than in the single screen, because they felt they would lose the perspective from if you have to jump around on the screens. So that was another key thing.
Isaac Strack, Adobe Systems. I'm wondering what the underlying protocol you're using. Is it PDF, Flash? What is it underneath?
Yes, the books are based on PDF. So we take PDF books and we ingest them in.
Hi, Chris Humphreys, News Corp Digital Media. In the demo and the work so far, it looks like you're replicating basically the textbook and notepad experience, which is mostly linear text and graphs and pictures, and several hundred pages of that is the format we've all learned in for years and years. And so far, your product reduces the weight of the backpack a lot, which, as a former law student and business student, I much appreciate. But I'm wondering if you have ideas about how this could enable breaking out of the linear learning format, the linear materials, just hundreds of pages of text that you work through from page 1 to 200, and how you see that developing and how you're pushing it to develop.
We see that as being very important to the future. And from the technology perspective, not only do we have thoughts, we're in advanced stages of the next version of software that's going to come on top of it, which will create a seamless solution for the student to get through all their learning without having to worry about what's on which page. So it will create the next generation technology solution for the students. So we are absolutely working on that. I don't want to say too much about it because it's about to be announced in a couple of months, but it's definitely very much on the plan.
Well, we'll definitely let it be easy for you not to say too much about it because you just run out of time. Thank you so much. I think you probably have heard of this company, and they're doing interesting things to help reduce or work in that new visual backpack. So without further ado, are you ready to head?
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. Hi, everyone. Obadiah Greenberg from the Google Apps for Education team.
Put your mic up, please.
Hello, there we are. All right. Who needs technology, right? Obadiah Greenberg from the Google Apps for Education team. Thanks for having me. Sorry for the technical issues there. Just to dive right in about what Google Apps for Education is, they are, let's go here, our core suite of communication and collaboration apps that we make available to consumers. We also make available to enterprises, and in particular, the education enterprise, which includes HigherEd and K-12. So you're probably familiar with many of these tools. On the communication side, email, calendar, talk, in collaboration, group collaboration, groups, the ability to work real time using docs and spreadsheets, and presentations. In fact, this presentation is in the cloud using Google Docs. Just a little background, Google has its roots in education. It was started by Sergey and Larry while grad students at Stanford, and you all know Google's mission to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So for our mission on the Apps for Education team, we want to bring the promise of cloud computing to millions of students, faculty, and staff worldwide. We recently announced at EDUCAUSE that we now have over 10 million users of Google Apps for Education. These are active users, by the way. Again, in higher ed, many schools, again, over 10 million users. What's interesting is while it often starts with students, we're now seeing a shift toward more faculty and staff adoption. So Brown, for example, Case Western, to name just a few. Though I know this is a higher ed focus, I do want to note that we're seeing explosive growth in K-12. There's a question on the panel before about if there's any training in the use of technology in schools. As there's rapid adoption of Google Apps and other technologies in K-12, then they'll hopefully be ready for these tools when they get to college. These are some